So Tess and I are here today to listen to an update on where our donations have been going to support her work with the beautiful children in Senegal. I'm going to give a little bit of background as to how we met so that people know. But we met on Facebook. Tess reached out to me maybe a few months ago and shared what she was doing to support these children, which I will let her speak to, but it touched my heart very deeply. And since that time, I have been scheduling channeling for charity groups, which are basically donations that support the children she is working to assist in Senegal. She is coming to us from Senegal right now.
You can see how lovely and warm it is.
It's a miracle. Technology is so amazing. So I have a channeling for charity group that will support Tess and these children coming up June 23rd. I will put the link so you all can register, but I want Tess, I want you to tell us about what you're up to, where things started, bring us up to speed on how you've been able to carry your work forward.
Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Tess Hunneybell, and through my illustrious careers, I have been in the restaurant industry for quite a long time, but I actually now am a specialized trauma psychologist. And that came about from working with children in projects in 3 other countries around the world. And the combination of the restaurants and the trauma psychology and child work has culminated in the project that I'm doing here now in Senegal. I came to Senegal last year on a holiday, and I was very taken with the country. I think, to be honest with you, where I'm living in Senegal is one of the most unattractive places I've ever been to in my life. Some of Senegal is stunning, but this bit is not, under the winds of the giant cement factory. But there's a magic about the Senegalese people. It's a very colorful, very beautiful country. And what I noticed when I was here the first time was these little boys walking up and down, constantly begging and asking for money. And I found out that what they are is they're Islamic pupils. So we have what's called Daras, they're Islamic religious schools here. And children study the Quran. So they're holy children. Unfortunately, a lot of the schools in Senegal don't actually act as any sort of school. Basically, they have these boys from the age of 1 to 17 who live in absolute squalor, horrendous conditions, and are sent out begging each day to bring in an income. There's an estimated 100,000 of these children currently in Senegal. They're not all Senegalese. Some of them have been trafficked in from neighboring countries. They've either been abandoned, orphaned, abducted. Some of the children have actually been sent to the Islamic schools by parents who unwittingly send the child away with no real understanding of where the child is going to arrive. On my second trip to Senegal, I spent a little bit more time with the children, and the constant need for food, the constant need for medical care, the constant need for attention, any clothing, water was I think it was big. It was overwhelming because we've been closed. The borders of Senegal have been closed since February because of COVID, and I live in a beach town. So we have no hotels, no restaurants, no villas. It's a ghost town. So these little boys are actually at the bottom of the food chain. So when I came back the second time in September, the little boys that I'd met the previous February when I was on holiday were really desperate at this stage. You know, they were thin and, you know, malnutrition had set in, they were rags, they were in despair. So I started a little cafe called Cafe Jam Haleh, which means Peace Child Cafe. So I opened a little cafe giving out free food to the children in November. Currently, we're feeding about 124 children a day. Now we're doing also, along with feeding, we have a little medical clinic. So we're doing basic medical care, dentist trips, day, every day they come and they brush their teeth. So they're getting medical care, food, nutritious food, dental care, nurturing. We have art therapy classes now. They have a football league running, so we have a football coach. So what we've done since November is actually given these young people a place to come and be cared for. So this has been an ongoing, and the project's really growing, and the children are starting to excel. The malnutrition's left, they're looking healthier, they're happier, they're a lot more confident in themselves. There's a team of 4 now. And the difference that the donations that have come through Stephanie have allowed us to take quite big leaps in very short periods. So we were able to take on responsibility for 3 quite severe burn victims, and they're still in constant medical care. It also allowed us to buy glasses, get medical eye checks, and put glasses on 6 children. So, and these are just some of the things that we're doing. So what I'd like to say is such a big thank you, because it does. We know that when Stephanie's doing a challenging, we have some money coming in and we're already spending, and we're like, okay, that's going there and that's going here and that's going there. What has changed since the last time I spoke to Stephanie is that I have been invited into 2 of the Daras, which are the actual religious schools. One of the Daras is very nicely kept, it's clean, it's a nice building, they have their religious studies, they're fed, they're not nurtured, so we still have a lot of their boys coming for nurturing, and that's major, and for medical care, because they get no medical care. But the building itself is quite sound, it's clean, and the boys are well maintained. The other Dara that I went to, I had a bit of trauma therapy after seeing it, actually. I was really shocked. What I walked into is basically a slave yard. The 53 children from the age of 3 to 17 share 20 square meters. I have no idea how they lie down to sleep in that space. I mean, I don't know how they stand up in that space. So when I first arrived at the Dara, I was very taken aback. They basically sleep in this shed with nothing on the floor, not even straw. The place hadn't been, I don't even know if it'd ever been swept. No windows, no doors, so the mosquitoes are coming in, the roof leaks, so the rain's pouring in, and they're really vulnerable because anybody can come and take a child. And and of course within the institution of adults and children. So that was obviously, I was really sad. So that's my little boys, my little ones, the little ones. There's 35 of them under 8 in there, and they all huddle in one little room. Now the Dara is made up of the actual quarters where the Talibé, which is the boy students live, and the Marabou, and he's the religious teacher, the religious master, the holy man, and his family. Well, they have a bigger house, but they have 27 children under 10. So the Marabou has 2 wives, 4 daughters. They all have children, and children of children. So in total, we have 76 children and 5 adults with really not much of a clue how to care for any of them. So I'm now what's called the Dara mother. So my job is to take care of all of them. And what's actually quite lovely is that the situation is completely out of control in there. I mean, they have no running water, no electricity. I mean, it's desperate. So we've got the water put on, we have electricity, beds for everybody, covers for everybody. We have the toilets have been opened again. There's a place where they can wash. The project now, the next stage is to mend the roof, which is leaking, put windows and mosquito screens on. We've put doors on so everybody's secure, and paint it. So my plan is to paint this very tiny little building and make it look like it's the inside of a genie's lamp. So it's going to be very beautiful, because these little children are students of Islam. So imagine when we see the Buddhist monk children, we see all these lovely photographs, these beautiful little monks in their robes. These children are religious children. They're going to spend their lives in this institution begging all day to survive. And when they're not begging, they're praying for us. So I want to give them the most beautiful little Dara that we can, and to work with the Marabou and his family to bring living conditions up to a reasonable standard. So, yeah, and we're bringing in education. Everybody's getting education. So it's very exciting. And I'm going to tell you something. We've managed to do this all since November on less than $11,000. It's like, talk about DIY. It's like, so I want to thank you. So you know that every penny and every cent and every dollar that you donate goes directly. We're all working as volunteers. But yeah, it's an incredible experience, really. It's just such a joy. It's such a joy. They are the most beautifully kind, sweet children, and they are so happy we are there. For the first time, somebody is caring for them, but really caring for them. And they are super excited, and they just dance. And we're starting a little dance school next week. We've got a local woman who teaches traditional dance. So fabulous. It's all good news. Oh. It's all good. Isn't it lovely? It's just so incredible. It's like unstoppable. We're just, when you work with the heart, it's so unstoppable, isn't it? Isn't that true? When you work with spirit, it's just unstoppable. You walk, I mean, I walk in there and I'm just like, okay, we're just going to clean this place. We're going to get the beds. Right, you're going to stop messing about. Get the water on. They've got more. I've got lovely little videos, and they're all sitting there doing their laundry, and they're so happy. They're so happy. They're just like, life's great. You know, it's like this mad Mary Poppins arrives with her crew. That's what we do. Yeah. They've got 25 goats and 2 horses in there as well. It's like a safari park, honestly, with children and animals and everything. But the thing to remember is, even though, you know, the Marabou and his family, his very large family, are struggling, the boys are the slaves that work for them. The boys get nothing. They get no food. I pay their water now. They get no clothing, no education, no care, no nurturing, no bed. No, it's almost, you know, they really are slaves. Mm-hmm. So the work is not only to sustain these children and to take care of them, it's also to get the Marabou and the people in this community and Senegal to see these children as holy children, and to protect and care for their holy children, and to step up as a community, because we have 600,000 Taliban in Senegal. So we have a crisis of child slavery here. And the only way that I can see the way forward is if we change the perception of seeing these children as reject children that are just shoved and pushed around the country, wearing rags, as holy children to be cared for, to be loved, to be respected. You know, you see one of these children, give them something to eat, bring some clothes to the Dara. So the project is expanding into an educational project and really working with the community to take responsibility inside the community.
Amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love you. I thank you for doing this. Yes, you are a fierce...
Having such a good time, because some days I'm like, but most of the time, no, the work is amazing. I mean, it's really, I recommend anybody coming to Senegal, definitely drop by. You'll have such a good time with us, really, and they'll love you. You've got to learn to speak a little bit of Pulaar and Olof. So yeah, so so to be absolutely honest with, the work is amazing. I really feel that, you know, of all the things that I've done, and I've done some incredible projects, that God has put me here to do this, and this is my mission, and I trust my heart. I trust my guides. I trust the people that I work with. The only thing that gives me any stress is having enough money to just do it again tomorrow. That's it. I just lie awake at night and I'm like, and it always comes, but it's so that's my ask. That's
well,
my
can
ask.
you give us a sense, Tess, for how what I would love for people to get a clear idea. What does it cost to feed a child, to provide medical care, to take care of them? Because it's so much less than what we would imagine.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. I think the reality is that, you know, if I was getting $20 a month for a child, an individual child, that would take care of their urgent medical needs and their dental needs, because it wouldn't be every month. And then food, we can get the food down. I mean, I can feed a child for like $2 a day, and that's good food. You know, that's really good food, and food for the Dara. So the food, but then just keeping that money available, you know, because there's always something, you know, they're like, there's a burn or a rip or a tear or a broken leg or a, you know, and God bless it here. It's very, the medical care is incredibly basic. So, but the downside of here is that it's a French colony. So they have a deal with the French pharmaceutical companies. So our medication is ridiculously expensive. I mean, it's obscenely expensive. I'm standing there and I'm looking at like $1.50 for one bandage. And I have 124 boys, so you can imagine. So that is one of the biggest stresses for us, is to have an ongoing medical kit. So when I take the boys to the if I need to take the boys to the clinic charged me like 50 cents to see the boy, but I have to bring all the medication with me. So a course of antibiotics is like $4 minimum, depending on the antibiotic. So it's that money. It's that sort of constant having a kitty for the dentist. You know, she's doing me a great deal. She's only charging me $18 to remove a tooth. So that's a great deal. But it's still $18, and I have 124 children who live on sugar. So
right. Well, I speak on behalf of, I believe, many, if not all of us watching, to thank you, to show gratitude and appreciation, because you stepping up to do this work, it's powerful and important and necessary, and that there aren't even really words. So to have you at the helm here, and I rest easier knowing that your fierce love is protecting these children. And I'm going to continue to do my part.
I know. Thank you. It really, honestly, Stephanie, I know I know every month I'm like, it gets, I'm like, sorry, Stephanie's doing an event. Stephanie's doing an event. I'm like, do the breathing. Stephanie's doing an event. Yeah, I know. But, you know, and I want to say something as well. You know, there are so many of us, incredible people in the world, you know, who have education, who have knowledge, who have experience, and we are so welcomed in places like Africa. I think there's you know, if you haven't been out here and done any work, there's maybe a misconception that, you know, we're kind of like, but no, they understand we are educated. They understand we come from a really good place. They want to learn. They do listen. You know, the men and the women come all the time for advice, you know, because we have the thing that they don't have. We have education in all things. And that is really the growing of any change is through education. So that's what we're here to do.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tess. By the way, you do not have to, for those of you watching, you do not have to wait for my event to donate and support this work. We will put a donation link below this video as well, because any amount helps. Whatever,
really, believe me, buying a football is super exciting when you've got 124 boys. Really. It's unbelievable how many footballs we go through. You know,
Yes.
so anything, you really, any donation, toothbrush, football, you know, pair of shoes, soap, all of these things, so welcome. So, and so they're so excited when they get something. They're just like, you know, give them a little piece of like soap and they wrap it and they cherish it and hide it. It's so they are so sweet, really.
Thank you, Tess.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And bless you for all the lovely, lovely kindness and all your people and all the people connected to you. So much love comes through your work. We really feel it. We really do. Look at our logo. Our logo is one little Talibé boy surrounded by angels. You're one of the angels, Stephanie.
Thank you, Tess. I appreciate that so much.
Thank you. Yes,
we'll
love you.
Talk soon. Love you too, lady. Take care.
I believe the connection stayed this long.
It was
Senegal.
amazing. It was amazing.
Okay, take care.
Take care, honey. Bye-bye.